Hi, I'm Tanya, and welcome to Faithful Flow. This is going to be a slow flow class, so we're going to focus on intentional breathing and pair that with some slow and very juicy movements. We're going to modify our sun salutations. We'll add some side bends and some melting forward folds just to help you slow down and create some space and release some stress. You're probably going to want some blocks for this class. You may want them throughout, and then we're also going to end in a supported bridge and waterfall. So you'll definitely want either blocks or a pillow or a bolster or a good thick book or something just to help you elevate and lift your hips. So go ahead and gather your props, and then you can meet me laying down on your mat whenever you're ready. All right, so meeting here on your back, legs can be long or they can be bent with the knees up in the air. Let's bring our hands, one hand to our belly and one hand to our chest. And then go ahead and just exhale everything out, getting nice and heavy here on your mat. With your inhale, breathing in, feel your belly rise, the chest expand. Breathe all the way up to the upper lungs. And then exhale, release, and feel yourself sinking on the mat as your chest and belly deflates. Again, inhale, big full breath in, filling up belly. Ribs all the way up to the top. And then exhale nice and slowly, releasing that all the way back down. A few more like that. Inhaling, filling all the way up. Exhaling, release all the way back down. Again, inhaling, drawing breath in. And exhaling, release. And let's take one more round here. Inhaling, drawing breath in. And exhaling, releasing. All right, if you closed your eyes, you're welcome to go ahead and slowly blink them open here. We're going to extend our legs long on the mat, and our arms are going to come overhead. We're going to make a little banana shape. So shimmy the hips to the right of the mat, and then you're going to send your legs to the left, arms overhead to the left. So if you'd like to, you can grab your right wrist with your left hand, cross your right leg on top of your left, and then really stretch over to the left. Think about flaring the ribs out to the right and creating some space along the whole right side of your body. Full breath in. Stay here for your exhale. And then we're going to come back through center. Release that. Pause there. Take a breath. And exhale. And then moving to the other side, you're going to shimmy your hips all the way to the left side of your mat. Feet and arms are going to come towards the right. If you'd like to, you can stack your left foot on top of your right. Maybe grab your left wrist with your right hand. Grow really tall and then lean over to the right. This time we're stretching out the left side of the body. Flare the ribs over to the left just a bit. And then take some nice full breaths. And one more breath here. And let it go. And then come back through to center. Align the spine and the hips. You can bend your knees again with the feet on the ground. Let's take a breath here. Inhale. And exhale. All right, from here, we're going to draw our right leg in towards our chest. Go ahead and wrap your hands around the back of the hamstring here. Flex your foot and bring that foot towards the glute. From there, extend the right leg towards the ceiling. It doesn't have to come all the way straight. We're just looking kind of straight-ish. And then bend it again. And then again, straighten it. And then as you bend, think about using the back of the leg, so the hamstrings to really pull that leg in. And we'll do that once more. Straighten it. And bend it. And then keeping it bent, we're going to move towards a half happy baby. So right knee slides out wide, so past the right shoulder, then draw it down towards the ground. And then you can begin to extend this foot up towards the ceiling, keeping the knee nice and bent. So you can grab the knee pit, the shin, or the foot. And then you can stay here with this left leg on the ground, or if you want a little more groin stretch, you can extend it long on the mat. but be nice and firm with that foot. So act like you are standing on it. And then if you'd like to, left hand can come and rest on top of left hip. A little bit of gentle pressure to help open the groin. And then breathe here. A few more breaths. Inhaling. And exhaling. Last breath cycle here. And then from here, we're going to move to a figure 4. So left leg comes back in. Bring the right ankle on top of the left thigh. And you can use your right hand to press your right leg away from you a little bit. And then keeping that tension, you're going to pull both legs in towards the chest. So right knee's away, but legs are coming in. Feet stay nice and active. Breathing here. For 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to keep this figure 4 set up with the legs, but we're going to move it into a twist. So you can bring the left sole of the foot back down to the ground. And then you're going to twist the legs a little bit, bringing the right foot to the ground on the left side of your body. Now, once you're there, if you'd like to, you can pick your head up and turn to look to the right a little bit. And another thing that feels good is to take your left hand, make a little L, and then you're going to press that right into the hip crease and press away very, very gently. Few breaths here. For 3, 2, 1. Releasing that hand if you used it. Bringing the legs back up through center. Uncrossing them. Let's take a breath between sides and make sure the spine is nice and straight. Inhaling. And exhaling. And then another side. So left leg comes in towards the chest. You can wrap your hands around the back of the hamstring. Flex the foot. Bring it towards the glutes. And then begin to straighten the leg up towards the ceiling. Again, it's early. It doesn't need to be all the way straight. Just straightish. And again, bend. And straighten. And then bringing the heel towards the glute, using the hamstrings to initiate that movement. And straighten. And let's go once more. Bend. And straighten. All right, from here, we're going to move towards that half happy baby. So bending the knee again. Pulling the left knee wide outside the shoulder and then down towards the ground. And then keeping the knee bent, just extend this foot up towards the ceiling. You can keep a hold of the knee pit, the shin, or grab the foot here. Right leg can stay bent with the foot on the ground, or if you want a little more stretch, you can extend it long, but then flex that foot like you're standing on it. And then hand can maybe come to rest on this hip. Very gentle little pressure just to kind of open the groin a bit. Few more breaths here. Allowing the breath to help you bring some calm to your body. Allow it to help you settle the thoughts in your brain. One more breath. Stay for the exhale. And then moving towards that figure 4. So if you straighten the right leg, you can bring it back in, put it on the floor. Left ankle comes on top of right thigh. Push the left knee away from you. And then keeping that gentle tension, you draw both legs in towards the chest. Several breaths here. Stretching out the hips a little bit here. Just warming our body up. And we'll be here for 3, 2, 1. And then taking the shape into the twist. So leaving your left ankle on top of your right thigh. You just bring your right foot down to the mat. And then adding the twist with the lower body. Left foot comes over and touches the ground on the right side of the body. Maybe pick your head up and turn to look to the left. And this time, other hand. So this backwards L with your right hand. Press that right into your hip crease and very gentle pressure away from the body here. Few good juicy breaths here. For 2, 1. And then coming back through to center, releasing the hand, bringing the legs back up through, uncrossing them. And then just go ahead and feet to the ground, straighten out the spine before we move on. All right, from here you can tuck your knees in towards your chest, 1 or 2 rocks, and we're gonna meet in a seat. So finding a nice easy seat, crossing the legs. You can stay facing where you are. I'm just gonna spin to face you. And we're gonna add a side lean and a twist. So starting, right hand crawls out to the side, left arm sweeps up, grow really tall and lean over to the right. Keep the chest nice and open and breathe here. One more steady breath. And then coming back through to center. And then we're going to add the twist. Left hand across the outside of right leg. Right hand crawls behind you. Grow tall. Twist ribs, shoulders, and head. A few breaths. Inhale, finding a little more length. And exhale, maybe a little more twist. One more breath. Let it go. And then unwind the pose. And then other side. So left hand crawls out to the side. Right arm sweeps up. Lean over to the left. Keep that chest nice and open. Look wherever feels good for your head. Two more breaths here. And then coming back through to center. And then we're going to add the twist. So straighten the spine nice and tall first, and then twist. Right hand outside of left leg. Left hand crawls behind you. Twist ribs, shoulders, and head. Staying in the twist with your breath. Inhale, finding some length. And exhale, a little more twist. One more breath. Stay for the exhale. And then unwind back through to center. All right, from here we're coming into our hands and knees. A couple of cat-cows, and then we'll make our way into down dog. So hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Inhale, drop your chest, look up, gaze up. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin. Inhaling. And exhaling. And then if there's any additional movements you'd like to add here, some sideways movement, some forward and back, welcome or invite you to take anything that feels good on your body. We're just trying to warm up the spine here. So whatever would feel good for you, I encourage you to do. Now, if you've been doing something to one side, go ahead and switch and include the other side. And then wherever you're at, we'll go through 3 more rounds. Moving with your breath. Pairing that nice, juicy spine opening with your inhales and exhales. Last round. And then we're going to meet in this nice straight tabletop pose. And then from here, we're just going to find a plank. So hand stays where they are. You're just going to step your feet back, plank pose. You can also come down onto your forearms, or you can do a kneeling plank with your knees towards the ground. Wherever you're at, press the ground away from you, broaden across the shoulder blades just a little bit. And then there's a little bit of action both in and out. So think about like you're trying to make this big X shape with your hands and feet, like you're trying to pull the mat apart in 4 pieces. And then also like you're trying to pull it in, like you're trying to scrunch it into the ball in the middle. And then find kind of that halfway point. One more breath here, inhale. Stay for your exhale. Really good job. Hips up and back. We'll find that down dog. All right, in your down dog, any movements that would feel good for you. You can bend the knees, you can kind of wag the tail, you can walk your dog, whatever feels good. Maybe lift and lower the heels a couple of times. Sometimes I think it feels good to kind of roll into the top of the feet to stretch them a little bit. Wherever you're at, we'll be here for 3 more full breaths. Inhale and exhale. Again, in and out. And then begin to come into some stillness this last time. Inhaling and exhaling. From here, we're going to meet at the front of the mat so you can look forward and then step or float however you want to get up there. We're going to land feet about hips width apart and find a ragdoll. So dropping the chest over the legs, grabbing opposite elbows, releasing the head and neck down nice and heavy. And then just think about the weight of the head pulling the spine a little bit. So think about it kind of decompressing. Breathing here for 3, 2, 1. Release the hands. Inhale. Let's lift and lengthen through the spine once. And exhale. Fold again. Inhale. We're going to roll up nice and slowly. So a little bend in the knees might feel good. And then just roll up through the spine. Nice and slowly. We'll meet here standing in a mountain pose. So take a breath here. Inhale and exhale. And then we're going to take a couple of half salutations. We're going to modify them with some side bends and some melting action. So I'm just going to spin to the back so you can see the side bends. Arms are going to come overhead. Interlace the fingers, pointer finger long, grow really tall. And then lean to the right with your exhale. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, lean to the left. Inhale, come back to center. I'm going to spin again, and then we're just going to melt down. So you can release the hands, maybe just prayer hands. Bend the knees, and then just melt down with the chest all the way down. Once you're down, you can begin to straighten the legs. Lift and lengthen through the spine. Find a flat back. And exhale, fold again. And then we're going to roll back up through the spine. So a little bend in the knees as you roll all the way back up to standing. Let's take a breath here. Inhale and exhale. And we're going to do that one more time. So arms overhead, interlace them, pointer finger long, grow really tall. Exhale, lean to the right. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, release the grip with the hands a bit, bend the knees, and just melt yourself down. All the way down. Once you're there, you can begin to straighten the legs, lift and lengthen through the spine a bit, and then fold again. From here, rolling back up to stand. So a little gentle bend in the knees, roll all the way up to stand. And then we'll meet here in mountain pose. Let's take a breath together. Inhale and exhale. All right, we're going to do 2 more variations here with this kind of melting. We're going to add some eagle arms, though. So arms are going to reach out to the side. Big stretch like a T first. And then right arm underneath, either eagle hug or full eagle arms. A little gentle bend in the knees is good. And then think about lifting up through the elbows like that. Let that help you lift your chest, gaze up. And then bend the knees, and we're going to roll all the way down again to that forward fold. Keeping the eagle arms, inhale, straighten the legs, lift and lengthen through the spine, maybe find this flat back. And then exhale, bend the knees as you fold forward again. Release the arms and roll back up to standing. Once you're standing here, we'll meet in mountain pose. Take a breath in and out. We'll do that one more time, this time left arm underneath. So big stretch, arms out to a T. And then either eagle hug, left arm underneath, or eagle arms. A little bend in the knee, and then lift up through the elbow. So we're keeping this slight little bend to make sure we don't stay or get dizzy with this lift up to the fold. So then melt down through the spine all the way down, keeping the eagle arms. Begin to straighten the legs, lift and lengthen through that spine, find that flat back. And then exhale, fold again, a little bend in the knees, release the arms, and then roll all the way up to standing. Once you're here in your mountain pose, let's take a breath together. Inhale and exhale. All right, and then moving into a bit of a flow, you can find your feet together in a traditional mountain pose. Hips width apart is also perfectly fine. We're going to take a regular half sun A to get started. So arms up, gaze up, arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward all the way down. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the spine, flatten the back. Exhale, fold again. Stepping back with that right foot, we're going to find a low lunge. So right knee can come down to the mat. Hands are going to come up to the thigh. Lift the shoulders, roll the shoulders up and around, and then back into their natural home. And then we'll hold here for a few breaths. So since this is a slow flow class, if you just want to leave your hands here, that's totally fine. Otherwise, if you'd like to, you can extend them overhead, palms facing each other. Few more breaths. For 3, 2, 1. We're going to add a side lean. So options here, left forearm to your left thigh, right arm up, lean over to the left. Or if you have a block, you can use a block. Or you can also bring this left hand all the way to the floor if that's in your range of motion. Wherever you're at, think about keeping the chest open towards the front of your mat. One more breath here. Stay for the exhale. And then come back through center. And then from here, we're going to find a half split. So shift your weight back to where your hips are over this back knee. And then lift and lengthen this front leg a little bit. Let's flex the foot. If you want some blocks to give you a little bit of height here, you're welcome to use them. And then keeping the foot flexed, we're going to add a little bit of rotation. So this movement is going to originate in this hip joint. So you're going to open the toes towards the left, but it's the whole femur bone that's twisting in this hip socket, and then bring the toes back up. So open them to the side, and then back up. And once more, open to the side. And back up. And last one, open to the side. And back up. All right, great job returning to that low lunge. So shifting your weight forward, blocks can move to the side. Lift your back knee. Hands are going to come to the ground. We're going to step back and find a down dog. Take one breath here. Inhale. Stay for the exhale. With our inhale, we're going to shift forward, find a plank pose. And then from our plank, lower all the way to our belly. So you can do your knees, bring your knees to the ground if you'd like to help. And then a 3 count for 3, 2, 1. Once you're there, we're going to find a cobra pose variation. So legs are firmly on the mat, a little bit of internal rotation, so the tops of the legs are firm there. And then hands are going to come off the mat, fingertips on the ground, but they're in line with shoulders. From here, inhale, think about peeling yourself up off the mat. And then exhale, releasing back down. So it's this action of almost like you're stuck to the mat, and you've got to peel up nice and slowly, lifting yourself all the way up. And then coming back down. And we'll do that once more. Peel yourself back up. And then release back down. All right, we're going to meet back in down dog. So hands can come back under the shoulders, curl the toes under. You can come through a tabletop, or you can do an up dog, however you'd like to get back there. We'll all meet here in down dog. Let's take a breath in and out. Making our way back to the front of the mat. Right leg lifts up and back, three-legged dog. And big step forward, we're finding a low lunge. This time our left leg is staying lifted though. So think about powering up through this quad a little bit. And then we're gonna add a twist, moving towards dragonfly. So left hand comes right underneath the left shoulder. Keeping the hips square, lift up through the ribs and the shoulders and the arm to add this twist. Stay here a few breaths. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Unwind the twist, both hands to the ground. Step this left foot forward to meet your right forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold again. And then other side. So left foot steps back. We've got that low lunge to begin with. So left knee to the ground. Maybe bring your hands up to your thighs and take a few breaths here. Shoulders are working to be just kind of in their natural home. So they're not pressed down too much. They're not up like earrings. And then stay here, or if you'd like those arms, you can send them up overhead. 3 breaths left for 3, 2, 1. All right, from here, we're going to add that side lean. So you've got options. Right forearm onto your right thigh, left arm comes up, lean over to your left, or you can take your block to the side to give you some support here. Hand can also come all the way to the ground if that's within your range of movement. Few breaths here. Feeling the nice length on this left side of the body. Last breath. And then unwinding back through center. And then making our way into that half split. So hips shift back over left knee. Right leg is long. Flex the foot. And if you like blocks to give you some extra length, you're welcome to use those. And then we're going to add those rotations. So keeping the foot nice and flexed, making this rotation start at that hip joint, open the toes to the right, and then bring them back up to the front. And again, open and back up. A few more here, open and up. Trying to keep the spine nice and straight while we do this. And then we've got our last one, open to the side and back up. All right, good job making your way back into low lunge again. Curl those toes back under and then lift your knee. And then we'll meet in down dog. So just step back, down dog. Take a breath, inhale. Stay for your exhale. And then inhale, shifting forward, plank pose. And then from our plank, we've got that 3 count lower to our belly. So bending the elbows, lowering down for 3, 2, 1. Release the toes, and we're going to take those cobra breaths again. So fingertips can come nice and wide outside the mat, in line with the shoulders. Inhale, peel yourself up. Exhale, release back down. We'll do that twice more. Inhale, peel yourself up. Exhale, release back down. And last one. Inhale, peel yourself up. Exhale, release back down. From here, you can release your hands. They can come back underneath your shoulders. Curl your toes under. We're going to make our way into down dog. So you can lift up through a tabletop, hips up and back. If you'd rather do an up dog, that's fine. We'll take one breath here in our down dog. Inhale. And exhale. And then making our way back to the front of the mat. Left leg lifts up, 3-legged dog. Big step forward. We're setting up for that dragonfly pose. So right leg stays lifted this time. Really power up through that right hip and quad a little bit. Right hand's going to come in line with the center line of the body. And then we're going to add the twist. So lifting up through the ribs, the shoulders, and the head. Arm can extend up towards the ceiling. A few full breaths here. We're breathing here for 3, 2, 2, 1. Unwind both hands down towards the ground, and then you're going to step that right foot forward to meet your left forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand up, arms all the way up. Exhale, hands move to heart center. Let's take a breath here in and out. All right, finding our mountain pose. We've got another flow option here. So arms come up, inhale, gaze up. Exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold again. Taking a step back with the right foot, we're going to find a crescent lunge. So left leg is forward, knee is bent, arms are going to come up overhead. Palms can face each other, and then shoulders just find that natural home. Once you're here, if you feel like you need to adjust your stance, you can widen it or shorten it. You're welcome to do anything that would feel good to make this pose sustainable for you. Because we're going to keep the legs, but we're going to add a twist. So hands can come down parallel to the ground. And then left arm's going to sweep you back, moving into a twist. So trying to keep the hips facing forward. The twist is happening, ribs, shoulders, and then head. Breathing here for 3, 2, 1. Unwinding back through crescent lunge. Pause here. And then it's a little bit of lift with the hips so you have room to open up and find a warrior 2. Now, you can stay here nice and static and still in your warrior 2 if that's what you'd like. Or you can add a little bit of movement with me if you'd like. So inhale, straighten the legs, arms come up, gaze up. Exhale back into warrior 2. Inhale, straighten and look. Exhale back, warrior 2. Again, inhaling and exhaling. Once more, inhale and exhale. Finding our warrior 2. Holding here for a few more breaths. All right, from here we're going to find a side angle. So left forearm can come down to the left thigh. Right arm's going to reach at this diagonal towards the front of the mat. So it's landing kind of by your cheek. And then rotate open with the chest. Few nice steady breaths here. Last breath. And then we're going to come back through warrior 2. And then we're going to straighten our front leg. We're setting up for triangle pose. So you may find a shorter stance to be helpful. If you do, you can just kind of tick-tock this back foot in a couple of times. And then you're going to shift your hips towards the back as you reach forward. And then left hand's going to come down towards the ground or a block, or it can rest on your shin. Wherever you're at, I'd like you to reach up and lift up through this right rib and shoulder, almost like you're trying to stack that on top of the left. Breathing here for 3, 2, 1. And then from here, just pinwheeling the hands down, beginning to square the hips a little bit, and then just step this left foot back, down dog. Take a breath, inhale. Stay for your exhale. Inhale, shift forward, plank pose. And then you've got that 3 count lower all the way to our belly. So lowering down for 3, 2, 1. Once you're there, release the toes. We're going to find a little locust pose here. So arms going to come down by your side, palms face down. Grow really tall first, so maybe even lift and lengthen the legs behind you, set them back down. From there, press the hip points into the mat. Lift up the belly button like you're trying to kind of form a bowl there, and then lift your shoulders, Lift your legs. Lift your arms. Breathing here for 3, 2, 1. Release back down onto the mat. From here, slide your arms forward back underneath your shoulders. And we're making our way back to down dog. So however you'd like to get there, meeting in down dog. Taking a breath. Letting it go. And then from here, we're going to find a lizard pose. So before we move there, I'd like you to step your hands a little closer together. So maybe the tops of your thumbs are touching each other. And then we're going to lift our right leg up and back. Big stretch first. And then stepping forward, right foot's going to land on the outside of this right hand. Now, once you're here, you can press into the ground and think about drawing your right hip back a little bit so that the tailbone is pointing more towards the very back of the mat. Now, you can stay here on your hands. You can come onto your forearms. You can use your blocks for a little bit of lift. It's really however you'd feel most comfortable here in your lizard. We'll be here a few breaths. Nice full inhales and exhales for 3, 2, 1. If you're down on your forearms, come back to your hands. And then we're just going to step this left foot forward, kind of transitioning through almost a malasana. So left foot steps forward, meets on the outside of the left. You can bend down. Hands can come towards heart. 1 breath here. Inhale and exhale. And then releasing the hands. Lift the hips. Find that forward fold. You can tick-tock the feet in, regular hips width apart. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold. And then other side. So left foot stepping back, big step back, setting up crescent lunge. So arms overhead, lift the chest. A few breaths here. Now, once you land, if you feel like you need to make any adjustments, widening your stance, shortening your stance, anything that you need to do, go ahead and make that. Because we'll be here for a little longer. As we move into this twist. So hands come parallel to the ground. And then right arm sweeps you back for this nice big open twist. Several breaths here. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Unwinding back to this crescent lunge. And then it's that little lift with the hips to make room. So lift up as you open up, finding this warrior 2. So nice deep bend in this right leg. Left leg is long and straight. And then your choice, you can stay here nice and still if you'd prefer, or you can add those movements, straightening the right leg, arms up, gaze up. Exhale back, warrior 2. Again, inhale, straightening, switching the gaze. Exhale, warrior 2. A few more like that, inhaling and exhaling. Last one. And then we'll land in warrior 2. Pause here, just a few breaths in our warrior 2. All right, from here, we're making our way to that side angle. So right forearm can come to the right thigh. Left arm's overhead, but at this diagonal. So biceps kind of in line with cheek. And then once you're there, open up through the chest. Maybe gaze up. Feet are nice and firm. Weights pressing down into both of them. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. From here, coming back through warrior 2. And then straightening this front leg. We're setting up for triangle pose. So again, if you like that shorter stance, tick-tock this back leg in a little bit. And then shift the hips back towards the back of your mat as you reach forward towards the front. and then hinge down, triangle pose. So hand can come to this inner shin, to a block, all the way down to the ground, whatever you'd like today. But wherever you're at, I don't want you thinking dumping down. I want you thinking lifting up instead. So lifting up through that left shoulder and gazing up. A few more breaths. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1, and then bringing both hands down towards the ground, squaring off the hips, and just stepping this right foot back, down dog. 1 breath again, inhale, and exhale. Last plank to the ground, so shift forward, plank pose, get nice and firm. And you've got that 3 count lower, lowering down, bending the elbows. They stay close to the chest, finding your way all the way down to the ground. Once you're there, release the toes. We've got our second locust pose. So hands down by your hips. If you'd like to, this time maybe palms face up. Lift and lengthen both legs behind you so you're nice and long. Press the hip points in the mat. Lift the belly button. Lift the shoulders. Lift the legs. Lift the hands. Grow a little longer first, so think more length, and then lift. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Release everything down towards the mat. Slide the hands forward underneath your shoulders. We're making our way back to down dog, so however you'd like to get there, making your way down dog pose. Let's take 1 breath. Inhale. Stay here for your exhale. And then inhale, looking forward. We're making our way into that lizard pose. So bringing the hands a little closer together so the tops of the thumbs touch maybe. Left leg lifts up, 3-legged dog, big stretch. And then big step forward, left leg lands outside the left hand. Once you're there, think about squaring the hips a little bit so that tailbone is pointing back towards the back of the mat. Stay here up on your hands. Come down onto your forearms. Use blocks, whatever you would like to make this pose a little more comfortable and sustainable for you. We've got a few more breaths here. Breathing for 3, 2, 1. Hands can come back to the mat if you were on your forearms or on blocks. We're going to lift up through the hips a little bit to give us some buoyance. That was a mix between bounce and buoyancy. And then we're going to meet in this Malasana squat. So right foot steps forward, lands on the outside of the right hand. Drop the hips, Malasana squat. Hands can be together. And then think about sliding your elbows down the inner thighs a little bit and then pressing them open. Now, your Malasana squat may look a little more like this, and that's perfect. Either one is fine. 1 more breath. And then we're all going to meet hands to the ground. Lift the hips for a forward fold. Tick-tock the feet in, maybe hips width apart. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, stand up. Arm sweep all the way up. And exhale, hands can meet at heart center. Let's take a breath together. Inhale. And exhale. All right. Next up, we're going to find some balancing poses. So if you'd like to step off of your mat, find a wall or anything, you're welcome to. I'm just going to spin to face you. So we're going to find a tree pose. So weight shifts into right leg. We're going to lift our right leg up off the mat. I think I might have said that wrong. Weight into left leg. Right leg lifts up off the mat. And then you can take a low tree. You can use your hands to help you find a high tree. Maybe hands come to heart center. Get steady here first. We've been moving, so sometimes finding some stillness in a balancing pose can be a little challenging after all the movement we've done. See, I'm falling too. Breathing here for 3, 2, 1. Releasing that back into mountain pose. Take a breath. Let it all go. And then we've got one side left. So weight into right leg, lift your left leg up, and then coming up, tree pose. It can be low, or you can use your hand to help you. Maybe bring the hands to heart center. And then one spot to gaze at, something that's not me, because I'm moving a little bit. And focusing on something that's moving can cause you to move a little bit. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Good job. Release it out. We'll meet here in mountain pose. Take a breath. Let it go. All right, and then one more balancing pose. We're going to find eagle pose. So right leg up and over, squeeze the legs together. Right arm underneath, so either eagle hug or full eagle arms. Now this right foot can be kickstand on the ground. You can do a single wrap. You can do a double wrap, whatever you'd like in your eagle pose today. Just think about squeezing everything together towards the center line of your body. Lifting your elbows a little bit. And if you have full eagle arms, pull those hands away from the face. Maybe bend a little deeper into that standing leg. For 3, 2, 1. Releasing it out. Finding that mountain pose between sides. Take a breath. Let it go. All right, other side. Left leg up and over. Eagle legs. Squeeze the legs. And then add the arms. Either eagle hug or full eagle arm. And remember, this left leg can be kickstand. It can be a single wrap. It can come into this double wrap. Wherever you're at that you would feel most stable today. Wherever you're at, let's lift the elbows a little bit. Maybe pull the hands forward. We're here for 3, 2, 1. Good job releasing that back out into mountain pose. Let's take a breath together and let it go. All right, good job. From here, making our way back to the front of the mat again. And then from here, we're going to make our way down. So just arms up overhead, gaze up, inhale. Exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, we're going to bend our knees and kind of tuck into this little ball. And then just bring our hands down towards the ground and sit back and find one boat pose. So lifting the legs, they can be bent or straight, whatever you'd prefer. Arms out in front of you. If you're feeling a little tight in your lower back or need some support, arms long behind you, fingertips to the ground. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Good job. We're going to make our way onto our backs, but go ahead and grab your block and have it handy. And then we're going to meet on our backs. We're going to take 2 bridges and then a supported bridge. So feet flat on the ground, knees facing up towards the ceiling. Hands can be down by side. Press nice and firmly into the feet. So you want to be pressing into all 4 corners so we're not kind of knocking the knees together or wide, but keeping everything in alignment. And then lifting the hips up off the mat. Breathing here in our bridge for 3, 2, 1. Good job releasing that down. Take a breath. And let it go. And then again, inhale, press firmly down through the feet. And then lift the hips, full bridge pose. This time we'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Releasing that back down to the mat. Let's take a breath. Good job. Let it go. All right, from here, we're going to find a supported bridge. So you can grab your block and then lift your hips and just slide this block underneath the hips and then come back to it. Arms can come anywhere that's comfortable. Legs can stay bent here, or I like to extend them long on the mat a little bit. Now, if you're feeling a little unstable here, you can kind of reposition yourself a little bit. You really want the weight of the hips to be supported here. So you don't want any like crunching in the lower back or this feeling of tilting too far one way or the other. If you need both of the blocks for a little larger and more supportive base, you're welcome to do that. But I just don't want you up on the block on its tallest height. So sometimes I see students do this like this, and there's just not enough to support yourself there. So if you want that level of height, instead, I encourage you to use both blocks and just stack the blocks together. So that'll give you the same amount of lift, but it'll be much more secure. Either way, that's much too high for me. So staying here a few more breaths. And then if you're liking this, you're welcome to just stay right where you are, or we can add a little more on. So to add on, left leg's gonna stay long. You're gonna draw your right knee in towards your chest, give it a little squeeze. It's gonna move up and out towards the right shoulder, so kind of like a half happy baby. You can stay here, or you can add a quad stretch onto this by bringing your left leg in, grabbing the ankle, and sending the knee away from you, trying to bring that shin down towards the mat. We'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slowly releasing this left leg first. Bringing this right leg straight again, kind of meeting back here in this star pose on our back. And then if you like that, we can move on to the other side. So left leg comes into your chest, give it a squeeze, and then open it a little wide towards that shoulder. You can stay here just like this, or if you liked the addition of the right leg, you can draw that right foot in towards the hips, take a hold of the ankle, and then send the knee away from you as you bring that shin down towards the mat. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then releasing this right leg long back where we came from. Releasing this left leg long as well. Back to this kind of star pose on our backs. Let's take one breath here. Inhale. And exhale. All right, we're going to move from here to waterfall pose. So bending the legs in, bring them back up, the feet back up on the mat. If you need to reposition the block a little bit, if it moved at all during that, you're welcome to. And then we're just going to extend our legs up towards the ceiling. Flex the feet, release the arms. Make sure the shoulders are nice and tucked underneath you so your upper body is nice and supported. And then you can leave your feet flexed, or you can kind of pedal through one, pointing the other, and then switching. And if you're doing this, think about rolling through the feet and then starting with the toes, bringing them back in. So kind of like how we rolled through our spine at the beginning of class, it's the same idea with your feet here. Whatever you're doing or enjoying, we'll be here for an additional 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, bringing those feet down to the mat, lifting your hips, removing the block. Let's take a breath here and let it go. All right, from here, we're going to make our way into a twist. So let's just bring the knees up. You can stack them over your hips. And then easy twist. Just allow the knees to fall to either side. Whichever side you want first is good. Once you're there, begin to unwind your shoulders. And then if you'd like to, pick your head up and turn it to look away from the knees. Breathing nice and slowly here. Full breaths in and out. 2 more breath cycles. Bringing your head back through the center. Unwinding your spine, bringing your legs back up. And then we're just going to switch to the other side. If you need to straighten your spine out, if it got a little curve in it between sides, you can. And then just lay the knees down to the other side. Unwind the shoulders. Pick the head up, turn to look away from the knees. Several breaths here. Full breaths in and out. Allowing your body to slow down. Allow the breath to begin to cool you. We're here for 3, 2, and 1. Bringing the head back up through center, unwinding the legs, bringing the feet back down to the mat, straightening out the spine. And we've got 1 pose left before Shavasana. So we're going to take cow face on our back. So cross your right leg over your left like eagle legs. Flex your feet, and then you're going to flare your ankles wide. So you're making more of like this wishbone shape with your legs, and then you're going to reach and you're going to grab your legs wherever is accessible. So shins, ankles, feet, whatever you'd like, and then pulling the legs towards your chest. Few breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling. Last full breath cycle here. And then nice and slowly release that. So you don't want your legs like slingshotting away from you. And then we're just going to cross sides. So left leg over the right with crossed legs. Flex your feet. And then flare your feet wide, making this kind of wishbone shape. Reach for your legs and pull them in towards your chest. Several breaths here. You can close your eyes if that would feel good for you. Last full breath cycle here, inhaling. Completing it with the exhale. And then releasing the legs nice and slowly. Uncrossing them. If you'd like a final little squeeze in, you can. And then we'll make our way into our final rest. So legs can come long. Arms out by your side. Tuck your shoulders underneath you so they're nice and supported. And then let's take a nice deep breath in. Inhaling and filling everything up. Getting nice and pleasantly, maybe almost uncomfortably full. And then exhale, release, and think like you're blowing out through a straw. So nice and slowly. Let's do that once more. Big breath in. Inhale, feel all the way up, full, 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 maybe almost uncomfortable. Feel the pressure. And then nice and slowly exhale like you're blowing out through a straw. And then you can release that breathing technique and just find any sort of soothing breath that feels good for you. Allow yourself to just kind of melt into the mat. Allow the ground to support you. Release your head, your neck, your shoulders. Let your arms be limp. Get soft through the core, the back. Release the hips. Allow the legs to just kind of flop wherever they may. Release the feet. And then bring your awareness back to your breath. You can feel the sensation of your breathing as you draw breath in. As you exhale, maybe feel the breath pass over your upper lip. You might even notice that's a little warmer. A nice soothing breath in, inhaling in. And then exhale, see if you can release and relax just a little more. And we'll be here for a few more breaths. Just embrace the stillness and the peace. I'll let you know when it's time to move. All right, if you've drifted off, you can kind of begin to bring some awareness back into your body. If you have some extra time that you'd like to spend here, I encourage you to. But otherwise, you can bring some gentle movements back into your fingers and your toes. Maybe extend your arms overhead, legs nice and long, a good morning stretch. And then from here, passing through your side, on your way to sitting up. So just roll onto either side and then use your hands to help you press back up. Find any sort of comfortable seat. We can sit up nice and tall. Bring our hands on top of each other over the heart. Maybe tuck the chin a bit. Let's take one final breath here. Inhale, full breath in. And then exhale, release. All right, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you feel so much better now than you did at the beginning of class. Grace and peace until I see you next time. Bye.